Hello Aquarius, Aquarius Rising, and Aquarius Moon people. This is your monthly astrological horoscope for December 2017. Just a quick reminder for all of you Aquarian people out there, remember that if you ever want to get a session with me, you do need to go to my website, integrativemysticism.com, or you can just follow the links below. And remember that these horoscopes talk about the big sweeping shifts of any given month. We talk about the things that are going on behind the scenes for much longer than just one day. And the reason I like to remind people of that is because I do have the shorter term aspects on the weekly horoscopes. And the first half is always exclusively astrology, so if you are interested, there's something in it for everybody. So what is going on with the month of December for the Aquarians? Well, from the 1st to the 25th, we have Venus in your 11th house of friendships and social networking. And Venus in the 11th house is kind of interesting because we tend to notice that love could be coming through your group of friends, whether it's somebody introducing you or possibly even a friend suddenly having the opportunity to become something more. With Venus in the 11th house as well, we tend to get a lot of favors and outside support, almost like charity, almost like gifts coming from friends. Things that are used to actually support a big goal or a big dream we have on our bucket list. In fact, the 11th house can also indicate, you know, again, more like, it's almost like receiving, I guess you could say backup or receiving tribute from our friends as a big thank you for simply being there. And again, a lot of this does go towards support for a bigger goal or a bigger ideal or aspiration. If you have been trying to perhaps do a big trip, if you're trying to actually have some kind of big goal on your bucket list taken, ticked off, this is a wonderful month because you're noticing a lot of your friends going out of their way to do the legwork or at least find the resources or the support that you need for you. On the 3rd through the 22nd, we have Mercury Retrograde in this part of your chart. And this is one of the best places to have Mercury Retrograde in the 11th house because it does focus in more of a harmonious way on reuniting you with friends that you've lost touch with. Now, Mercury Retrograde can sometimes make it a bit of a bumpy road because sometimes we're reuniting with people that used to be friends, but for whatever reason, might not necessarily be friends right now. However, with Venus in there, we may be finding ways to patch up, getting back in touch with people. With Mercury Retrograde in the 11th house, people are suddenly popping up out of the blue. Friends from high school, friends from college and university. Maybe you're bumping into them on Facebook. They're moving back into town. Mercury Retrograde is asking you to go back and examine the past of your social wheelings and dealings. In fact, with Mercury Retrograde in the 11th house, we may even be putting some old bucket list items, some old ideals and aspirations that, we never thought possible back on the table. All in all, like I said, it's one of the best places to have a Mercury Retrograde, so it looks like during this retrograde cycle, the Aquarians get off scot-free. On the 3rd of the month, we have a full moon in Gemini. And this opens up a 2-week window of influence. Remember, lunations last 2 weeks in their energy in your 5th house of love, romance, and your relationships with your kids. And with a full moon in the 5th, this is definitely an interesting time for those of you who are dating, those of you who are seeing people maybe in a less official way, because we tend to bring about a test. Is everyone ready for this to become a full-on committed relationship? If not, the full moon can challenge us by bringing another person into the situation for us to consider. This can also be a time with a full moon in the 5th house of intense romance, of intense passion. It raises the roof in all capacities. This can be extremely pleasurable, but it can also be stressful because some people can't handle that high energy very much. And we do need to be able to see our partner or prospective partner in all respects. You may be getting a glimpse of what it would be like to be with this person for the long term. We do need to be able to know what people are like on their good days and on their bad days, because we don't ever want to date somebody just because they seem to only know how to, do one thing one way. When it comes to a full moon, though, this could be a culmination in terms of a completion of a cycle when it comes to, dating. A lot of you, very much like a full moon in the 7th house, may be actually able to bring something to a more official and mature, grounded level. With your kids, however, a full moon can indicate kids are growing up, and you may be noticing a big change when it comes to the way a child is behaving. They may actually be maturing a lot faster than you could have expected. There could actually be some good news as far as some advancement, as far as their education is concerned, their performance in school. But be careful with the full moon here because, again, it does raise the energy and things might get a little bit tense or intense when it comes to interactions with your child in these 2 weeks. On the 9th, we've got Mars, planet of action, energy, and conviction and passion, moving into your 10th house of career. Well, he will be all the way up until around the end of January. And when we have Mars in the 10th house, remember what I always say about Mars in a money area, 10, 2, 6, doesn't matter. We always see an opportunity for overtime. We always see an opportunity for extra hours, extra labor, extra pay. Now, you may be noticing that work is becoming more demanding in the next month and a half, but the compensation is there and the money is rolling in. Now, interestingly enough, with Mars in the 10th, uniquely to the 10th, we are also noticing more competitive opportunities being presented to us. And we may even be feeling pressure to compete more at the office than was ever expected of us before. This can bring a little bit of stress, but again, Mars always rewards those who step up to the plate when it comes to accepting this kind of challenge. There may be a bit of scuffles and a bit of bumping when it comes to handling your colleagues and your peers, however, so make sure nothing gets personal. On the 18th, we've got a new moon in your 11th house of friendships and social networking. And this is a beautiful aspect because it does indicate a big change to your social group, your social support system. You may be finding that there is a new group that you join, or perhaps some new additions to the group that you have that are absolutely perfect. They're gelling in quite nicely. However, this is occurring during this Mercury Retrograde. At least this lunation, while it lasts from the 18th to the end of the month, the 18th to the 22nd may also indicate a lot of you Aquarians shuffling, I guess you could say, your personal round table. Sometimes we find out that another person is a better candidate to be our best friend than the one we have right now. Sometimes we find that a certain chunk of the group is a lot more supportive and a lot more active and a lot more dynamic than another part of the group. And we may be changing our personal seating arrangement or our personal phone tree when it comes to our contacts and our confidants. However, this new moon is absolutely supporting this shift, and it is making it a lot easier on a lot of you to be able to have, again, the ideal platonic support system. On the 19th, we've got Saturn, planet of restrictions, discipline, and sometimes obstacles, moving into your 12th house of your past, your privacy, and your hidden zone. And interestingly enough, this is a 2.5-year break beginning for a lot of you. With Saturn in your 12th house, Saturn does not actually impact you the same way that it hits everyone else in the astrology. Saturn in the 12th house tends to go to sleep a little bit. It tends to spend more time working at about half power. And so you may not actually be feeling the pervasive challenges or pressures to perform that Saturn usually makes for the rest of us. And with Saturn in your 12th house, there will be lessons and challenges coming up as it relates to your past, especially when it relates to parts of your past that concern your family, your early childhood, or things that have been going on for a long time behind closed doors. I always try to remind people that Saturn doesn't deserve to be the scapegoat that, modern astrology has made it. Saturn is always working on trying to help people evolve and perform better. However, with Saturn in the, Saturn can sometimes light a fire on the back burner if we keep something there for too long. And there may be something coming up over the next 2.5 years, or several things, again, relating to your past that maybe we have yet to settle, whether it's old karma with people, outstanding issues that have to do with, perhaps your finances, or perhaps, again, going back, even dealing with ancestral karma, family karma, cycles that seem to be repetitive and ongoing. It's time to put those things to a stop, and you may be called to be the one to make that happen. Saturn in the 12th house is also going to be pressuring you to come to terms with some things that you yourself may not be ready to accept about yourself when it comes to looking at your true individual self, the things that we keep behind closed doors, the things that we kind of have in our own personal closet, so to speak. And I think that what's going to happen, though, is you may find out that a lot of this stuff, as it comes out, is actually better accepted than you could have expected. We also have on the 19th the Sun moving into Capricorn, into that 12th house, to bring some nice levity and some ease of energy there. When the Sun is in the 12th house, we are bringing our closest into our more close, I guess you could say, and private areas of our life. We are sharing more of the part of ourselves that, we don't give to just the general public. And we are finding that we are actually creating a stronger bond and a stronger sense of second family. The Sun in the 12th house is also asking you to start debuting things that, again, you have kept behind the scenes. We're drawing more positive attention to again, your spiritual path, creative projects, and things that you really do need to actually bring out to see the light of day. And you may be finding that there is a lot of social, financial, and even quite possibly romantic rewards or opportunities whenever you go and draw that kind of attention to yourself between the 19th and the 3rd week of January. Finally, on the 25th, we do have Venus, planet of love, harmony, and attraction, moving into this area, that 12th house, where she will be until the end of January. And a lot of you Capricorns may actually find that you are engaging in a discreet relationship, or perhaps beginning a discreet relationship behind the scenes. Some of you may be taking that friend who perhaps, became a little bit more, and maybe we're trying to see each other a little bit more privately away from prying eyes. Some of you may be finding out about secret crushes, or finding out you revealing a secret crush you have on another is received better than you could have expected. So that is your horoscope. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And of course, if you ever want to get a session with me, you can always follow the links below, or go to integrativemysticism.com.